Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another technical analysis video. Today we're going to be diving into VeChain. The ticker is VET against USD. We're looking at the weekly time frame here. First off, the first thing I wanted to do was get in this level of previous support that now potentially could be resistance here for VeChain. Okay, so we need to watch this area very, very carefully. As you can see, prior to us putting in this current low, this current bottom, this area, this red area, this box of support was previously the support level, but you can see that you did continue to put in lower highs basically, and you was getting depleting buying pressure. You was equally running into this 20 EMA, which if we zoom out this yellow line here, you can see that actually since losing key levels of support back in 2021 where you turned it to resistance, you had a fake out at this weekly 20 EMA, and ever since then again you can see you came down to this level of support. You ran shy of the weekly 20 here, but it was resistance. You came back to support and then rallied back up to the weekly 20 EMA, meant that as resistance. Right now you can see you've come back down, and right now you're rallying into this 20-week EMA. Are we going to meet it as resistance, or are we going to see the breakthrough? You can see that last week, the close yesterday, in fact, for VeChain, was at this resistance point, and we did get a close at 21, so 212. But again, this is an area that I am expecting previous support. We've lost that support potentially right now. We could be running into it as resistance, looking for some sort of pullback to build some sort of foundational level of structure. Because prior to this crash, the June lows for a lot of projects, a lot of people were thinking that, okay, we're holding these June lows as support. If we can start tackling out of key levels of resistance, this is the bottom. Unfortunately, the FTX crash occurred. You know, a lot of projects were looking really tasty, and whoosh, out of nowhere, they just put in some large corrections, falling another 30-40%, a lot of projects. And to me, I think that was a bit of an artificial push down, something that a lot of the markets couldn't have predicted. But it's happened, and now what I think you're getting from that is some sort of V-shaped recovery on Bitcoin, on many other altcoins, and a lot of projects are running into their weekly 20s. It's all about breaking through this weekly 20, okay? Because you've got, as we said, you've got it many times as previous areas of resistance within this bear market. So getting above that is one good indicator that potentially the lows are in for the project. Again, another thing that we need to watch out for was this previous support. Again, I have said you're currently meeting that as resistance, and equally the 20 EMA. So that's two indicators pointing out, okay, hang on a minute here. For the past few weeks, we have had a bit of an impulsive move off of these lows down here, and we're currently up around 39-40%. Is this time for us to come back for some sort of larger pullback? And potentially put in new lows, or are we going to come back and hold a level of support? So what I would be looking at here for VeChain, if we do currently get rejected by this 20, this is only if we do get rejected by this previous support and this 20-week EMA. Okay, the potential for us to retrace and hold support right now. If this is, okay, it's only if you start coming up above and tackling this 20 EMA and tackling levels of resistance above you, you would be coming up quite impulsively, but nonetheless, you would still be having a clean breakthrough. So that can negate, this play I'm about to show you can be negated if you do carry on pushing through here. But anyways, if this is a resistance area, I would expect a pullback to the golden ratio, the 0.50 to 0.618, which will offer us a generous short opportunity from this point of around 18%. I'd say 15 to 18% coming back, because at this point, if you was to come back for support here, it'd be nice to see some sort of ABC or Elliott wave theory coming back to put in a higher low. And basically, if you did come back up to, if we did meet this area as resistance right now and actually come back to that level for support, this golden pocket here, you can see that potentially you'd have had this bottom. Okay, you've met resistance currently now. If we do start to retrace an ABC to the 0.618, hold that as support and coil up, you're in something called an ascending triangle here on the weekly, and that could count as your foundational structural bottom. If it holds, it's all about holding this pocket and coming back here for support. It's all about holding that, and if it does do that, okay, because we all know what VeChain's like, okay. VeChain can move very impulsively. If this is a low and it's been forced down, you know, artificially, you could see some quite impulsive move up here. It's very possible. If we get the 55 on, for example, if you start tackling above the the weekly 20 EMA, if you start closing above the weekly 20 multiple times, it gives you an indication that potentially you're looking to come up to the 55 at some point. And now the 55, the weekly 55 here for VeChain has not actually been tested since April 2022. So you've gone just nearly 10 months shy of not retesting that weekly 55. You can see that, again, you had this high, you lost support, hit the 55 as resistance, put in a low here, you took out the previous support of 2021, you then met the 55 as resistance, and ever since, the 20 has been our key resistance point. And again, you can see for a third time since losing key support back in January 2022, so a year ago, that's where you started losing key support, met it as resistance, and ever since then you've been in this whopping downtrend under this 20. If you do start to see a clean push through here, holding this 20 on the weekly, I would expect at some point, you know, this 55 EMA to start curling, this 20 to start curling. If you can hold that, then I do think somewhere down the line you are going to come up and potentially retest this 55. Why do I think that's going to happen? Well, since this level of support was lost here, that we got some quite a strong relief rally off, and we ran into these EMAs confirming this downtrend. So since the support back in February 2022, because you can see we had support here, you came up, you was holding the support, okay, again, you held this support, but this is where you confirmed, you got the death cross on the weekly, you ran into the EMAs, got rejected, lost support, and since losing this area of support that sits at around 0.039, we haven't actually back tested that. So it wouldn't surprise me to see the fact that we've come down to this support level, we've lost it, and we haven't actually back tested it as resistance. It wouldn't surprise me at some point that we do come up and retest that. And you can see that around that sort of area is where the 55 on the weekly currently sits. So that's a good case. And again, that's it. I think that would give confirmation if you do get this follow through here, potentially run into higher resistance, then get your pullback to support. Okay, confirm that, and then look for your breakout. Again, because VeChain can start to move very, very impulsively. You can see that when it is in an uptrend, a whopping uptrend, or starting an uptrend, it takes off basically. And again, it has happened within this downtrend, and unfortunately, it's just the way it goes. You go down as quick as you come up, basically. But again, I think this is healthy. I think the market needs and projects like this do need to work in waveforms. If we zoom out here to the monthly. Again, you can see that this weekly 20 EMA hasn't been back tested for ages, since that April 2022 on the monthly. So it wouldn't surprise me at some point that gets tested again. And once you do start, because when you get down, look, you can see this was key resistance for VeChain prior back in the 2019-20. When you did get back above that 20 and hold it as support, this is your confirmation on the monthly. You got this whopping uptrend. So if we was to put in the low here, start to come up, and eventually get back above the 20, that would be your confirmational signal, just like it was here, getting back above it, holding it as support, boom, VeChain could be off again in the near future. But again, that's a while away. I think in the near short term, I am expecting some sort of pullback, because we have had quite a large bit of relief, and we are running into previous areas of support, and we're currently looking to turn that to resistance. So unless we fail to close above the weekly 20, this week, and unless we fail to get back above previous support that we could turn into resistance, I am looking, as I said, for that pullback to those key levels I had on the fibs. Get your fibs on from the local high back down to this low. You've got the 0618 area of support. If you do start to come back, put in higher lows and coil up, you know, you are forming that structural bottom, some sort of ascending triangle, and you'll have a breakout target, I'm presuming. We can measure now if this is the first point of contact of resistance. So if this is VeChain's resistance, and we do get a breakout of this resistance, you know, you're looking to retrace back up to previous levels of resistance beforehand for VeChain that you met back in August 2022. So you would have broke down, coiled up, and then get the breakout back up to previous resistance points. And equally, again, this 50 would be dragging down, wouldn't it? But yeah, so in the near short term, looking for a pullback. I'm losing myself a little bit there. I think we're meeting key resistance. You're running into the weekly 20 EMA. Healthy pullback, 15 to 18%. Coil up in an ascending triangle. Break this resistance. Hold it as support. And I think we could be forming some sort of bottom structure here to take off into the next bull for VeChain. Again, nothing that I say is financial advice. If VeChain does roll over, the most bearish scenario is from this high, retracing back to the low that we're currently bouncing off. Back in December. If you was to start to retrace here, you know, and lose this golden ratio pocket and hit that as resistance, you're looking to retrace to the 1 fib. And again, if you then rally into the 050 and meet it as resistance instead of support coming down, you are looking to retrace back down to these targets down here, which is an overextension shoot. And I think that's about a 40% downside from current price. You'll be looking at 35 to 42% on that pullback, which brings you back down to the areas of support back in October 2020. So we do need to keep an eye on this, guys. We do need to see this 20 broken very cleanly, multiple closes above the weekly 20, and it will give us some sort of validation that we are potentially putting in lows here. But as I said, it's lovely to see this relief. It'd be nice to pull back to support, hold support for a little while, and attempt to break out of resistance and i.e. get above this weekly 20 that we've been under for such a long time. Again, guys, I like to keep it very macro, very zoomed out, and see the larger perspectives here. But I hope you enjoyed the content today on VeChain. If you did, please do like, comment, and subscribe. From Chart Nerd TA, take care, everybody. Have a great evening. Peace out.